Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of... You guys ready? We're going to try to say this together, okay? Follow my lead. Arcade Parlor. I don't know if we got that.
That was in unison. I don't know what you're talking about.
Best attempts.
We'll see in the recording. We'll see how that turns out. Guys, welcome in. Happy to have you here. Listeners, we're happy to have you listening to us as well. We really appreciate you. But let's go around the room. I'm looking at the virtual room here. I'm going to go around. I am your host, David, also known as Poncho Taco on Twitch.tv. And I am joined around the room with, I'm looking right at Ashley, Florida.
Hello, David, aka Poncho Taco.
How are you doing?
You know what? I couldn't be better. It's a beautiful day.
What's the weather in Florida today?
Oh, I don't want to upset anybody, but it's definitely in the low 70s, sunny and beautiful today.
What the heck? Oh, come on. I want that.
It's 33 right now by me.
That's unfortunate.
33. I always like to hear what it is in Florida, because it's where you're at. It's much nicer, I'm sure.
Not to rub it in, my friend, but yeah, it's nice and warm.
I'm looking at the rest of the room. I got Jackson, also known as Bleachy_B of Twitch.tv. Jackson, how you doing?
Yo, what is up? David, otherwise known as Poncho Taco. I'm doing so well. It is insane.
Insane.
Wow.
So it's so well that you're insane.
Yeah,
so is it all just in your head? In the loony bin.
Don't you worry about it.
Well, happy to have you here too, Jackson. And I look around the room and I see one more person. We are joined today by we've had one, two. This is our fourth guest. The legendary, the Jackal himself, Cheesepopps of Twitch.tv.
You love to see it. What's going on, guys?
I love it. You love to see it. The very first thing we hear. Classic Cheesepopps.
It's getting old. I gotta say it though.
It's just part of the persona at this point, right? I go into other streams, people who have like sound commands and stuff like that, and I hear your voice from people just triggering a sound command. You love to see it. I hear it. It cracks me up.
I love it. Always makes me smile. And it's also like, I've been in streams too where people it's such an easy impersonation of me. Just overly loud, screaming it. Always makes me smile.
You just yell into a microphone. That's a Cheesepopps impression.
Exactly. About nothing. It can't have any substance to it. It just has to be a nonsense yelling.
It just has to be loud. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, welcome in, Cheesepopps. I'll be the first to say, super happy to have you on the stream. We were looking for our next guest to have on here. I mean, we're never guaranteed a guest every month. We don't know if we can get somebody, and that's fine. If it's just three of us, we'll still have a great episode. But obviously, we'd love to be joined by a guest. I'm so happy that when we reached out, you were ready to go. You were wanting to get on this.
It's wild because I stumbled upon the podcast naturally. Like, I don't think I heard that you guys were doing it. I didn't know you were doing it. And then when I found it, it was just a random night. I listened to the Sherby episode. I listened to the HK Play episodes. And I'm just like, holy smokes, this is amazing. And I was so excited. And literally a few weeks later, you folks are like, do you want to be on it? And you couldn't see me at the time, but I went, yee! You know, I was so excited because it's such a good idea. And there needs to be more of these. So I'm honored to be here.
It's awesome. I mean, like, there's so many. I mean, just the little community, right, of particularly Mario Maker, right? There's so many streamers, and everybody has a different reason why they're doing it. Everybody has different levels of success, and it's just so interesting to hear, you know, where people are coming from, how they got to where they're at. It's just really cool to hear all that stuff. And a lot of these people are people that we interact with, but more of a one-way conversation, right, with the stream. So it's really cool to actually sit down with people and be like, yo, how's it going? This I've seen you for so long. We've kind of met, but we've never actually met. So this is like really cool. For our listeners, this is episode 5.
It's number 5.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Episode 5. Episode
Is
5.
five.
We are recording on January 7th. January 7th of 2023. Guys, Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year.
Happy
It's-
New Year indeed. What's the cutoff date though for the New Year? Like
January
is
2nd.
January 2nd? Because I'm still staying at 2. I'm just waiting for someone to give me the eye. Like, is it too late after a week? I don't know. But definitely Happy New Year.
I think it's a good discussion to have the cutoff date because I work in insurance off stream, and the latest anyone ever said Happy New Year to me, I had a client email me in March, and they started the email, "Hi Ashley, Happy New Year." I don't think I laughed like that in a long time.
That is wild. March is too late. I think January, this is the first time you talk to someone in person, right? You have to say it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But if you make it to February, you're like, it's time. You missed your opportunity.
No, it's Valentine's Day.
I agree with that. I think I agree. I think the month of January is okay, especially when it's someone you haven't seen yet. You haven't even talked to. Happy New Year. That's cool to say. That's fine to say. I think it makes total sense. But yeah, February, drop it. Get rid of it. Nobody wants to hear it anymore. We're into the year. We already know we're having a Happy New Year at this point. Well, again, guys, welcome in. Like I said, today's day is January 7th for our release coming up just on January 9th. I like to keep our podcasts. We record it and then we push it out quickly, so everything is still relevant within the communities as things are happening and stuff like that. I love getting it. Just try to keep it as relevant as possible for what's coming up. But guys, thanks again for taking the time here. And Cheesepopps, again, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast with us. We are, like, I've been messaging Ashley, messaging Bleachy, being like, yo, this is going to be a great episode. I can just tell already this is going to be awesome. Cheesepopps going to be a great guest, and we're just super excited to have you on here.
I am so pumped. I'm already having a blast. Thank you guys.
So Cheesepopps, twitch.tv. What one day you were sitting there and one day you said to yourself, I'm going to stream. Right? You said, I'm going to stream, or someone told you you're going to stream. I don't know your story. What got you on here? What got you streaming?
This is I'm going to try to not talk forever, but I love this subject, obviously, because I love Twitch, but like it started way back when I stumbled across like angry video game nerd videos. Like,
yes.
That was huge for me because at that point, out of all of my friends, I'm the only retro dude who likes old Nintendo games, old Sega games, old Atari games. Like, I love my friends. We always played video games together, but they moved on as the systems progressed. Like, they're playing their fancy new Xbox. They're playing their fancy new PlayStation. I'm like, you guys want to play some Nintendo? They're like, what are you doing here? I don't want to play Tecmo Super Bowl. And that was, like, it was such a huge influence to see all of those old games that I used to grow up with and watching someone else struggle with them. And I think that's where it started. Watching someone rage at a video game and get just as mad as I used to get to. Like, why do you have to duck there with a blue crystal for no reason? No one told me that. And just experiencing that was so cool. And I wanted to do something like that so badly. And I am lucky enough to have incredible support from my wife. I can say that on the podcast because she's not here, and I will say nothing but nice things about her on here. On stream, I will time her out so quick. I don't know why, but she got me a capture card. I remember that birthday, and I wanted to just record videos and put them on YouTube. That was the dream. Sure. And I think I did, like, I have no computer skills whatsoever. I never owned a computer past college because I didn't really need to. So everything was super low quality, terrible audio, but I caught a couple couple videos on there that thankfully are deleted now because I would cringe so much seeing them, because you got to find yourself, like, who your voice is. And at that point I was trying to be someone I'm not. I want to be angry video game nerd. I want to do that. And that's not me, other than the rage part. Like, no, I don't even rage. Like, other than like, why is this real kind of deal. So, but I had so much fun doing that. But then real life stuff happened. You get a job, move across the country and things like that. But then at that point, I saw on YouTube again, I found a Keezer on YouTube GDQ run of Animorphs. And I didn't know what GDQ was at the time. I had no idea who these people were, but I see this like group of people watching a speedrunner play a terrible video game, and I think that was crucial. And he gets like halfway through the game and soft locks or something terrible happens, so he has to do it over again. And he does a gimmick where he repeats everything he said in the first, and it is one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time. And I'm like, what is this Twitch? What is this GDQ? And hooked. Absolutely hooked ever since. I've like, GDQ is a holiday for me. I met so many streamers that way.
Wow.
And like, that is literally, I had no idea that there's this whole community of nerds out there that love this thing as much as I do. And as soon as I found out about that, I was on Twitch, and I have not been off ever since. And so far, I have talked for 39 hours, and I've not mentioned why I got into streaming or how I did. Just like, my love of video games and the community. But it's something I've always wanted to do. I had that capture card forever, but work and life, like, I don't know how people with kids and jobs do it. Like, it was just me, my job, and my wife, and like, I'm exhausted at that point. And at one point, my father-in-law, who lived with us at the time, and Callie, my wife, were like, quit your job, man. Quit your job and have fun. We don't need the money. Like, be happy, because I was a miserable person when I was working, and I did, and just started streaming for fun, something on the side, and it has been a ride ever since. I've had a lot of people help me set it up too, because obviously I couldn't do it on my own, but it has been the most fun I have ever had in my life, and I'm just enjoying every second of it.
That's awesome.
I've
so
heard
what
you...
what go ahead.
I'll go. So I've heard you say many times on stream how much your wife, also known as Cheesepopps, has been so supportive of you, but I had no idea that on the journey that she was just like, you gotta do this. Like, you don't need the money. Get yourself out there and try.
Every step of the way, everything from like, and also, not to toot her own horn too much. Is that even a phrase? Toot her own horn? It doesn't matter. Now. But, I would sit there and play a video game. It's like, oh, babe, watch this. Oh, look at this. And look at this. She goes, I love you. Leave me alone. I don't care that you got all the Chaos Emeralds on Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I'm a Sonic 2 girl. I'm like, but no, the Blue Sphere game. You got to play it. And she's like, leave me alone. And so it's also a win-win for her, because now I get my video game nerdness out in a more productive manner than constantly bombarding her with it. But yeah, she has been amazing and supportive, and like, she knows, like, I was in a great job. My boss is like, still comes into the stream. He's a mod in my stream, supporter. Wow. Like, literally a great boss, great pay, great benefits, great situation, and I was still miserable. Like, and it's kind of those, I'm never going to be happy doing this thing, and she knew that. And the fact that she gave me this opportunity to chase after something she knows I love and I'm going to have fun with, and I'm not going to be like, Sunday night, I'm not going to be just this grumpy person thinking I'm going to go into work, see 100 email. It has been insanely supportive, and I just love the idea that I show none of that on stream and just constantly berate her and time her out. I don't know why. It was her idea too. It was her idea. Like, I want you to be as mean as you can be to me without being like crossing that line. So
I was watching your stream just the other day, and I don't remember what your wife came home or something, And you're like, oh, hey. And as she was leaving, you're like, oh, by the way, can you make me this to eat? And then sure enough, a few minutes later, we just see some object come fly to the room and it like bounces off your head or something.
Oh, it's so much fun to do. And it's always a line too, because I want to make sure people know, like, we love each other a ton and it is banter. And I think we do a good job of it. But like, if there's ever a situation where someone's like, you got to be nice to your wife, like, oh, trust me, like, we've been together for 15 years. This is just, It's all in good fun. So I think hopefully we do a good job of that.
Yeah, I think it comes through pretty clear. I think it does.
I agree.
So you said you started, it was GDQ, watching an old Animorphs game getting a speed run. What brought you into like Mario Maker? I think that's that's all you pretty much stream. I know I see you do Mario Kart sometimes with the community and stuff like that, but it's pretty much Mario Maker too.
So once I found out about GDQ and watching like all of the events, the single highlight of every GDQ for me is the Mario section. ROM hacks, any Mario game, like the community. And I'd name the names, but everyone knows Barb, Gray, Pooh Bear, like stuff like that. And they just absolutely steal the show. And Mario, I'm a Nintendo kid. It's the best. Yeah. Mario 3, if Ocarina of Time did not exist, Mario 3 is the best video game of all time. And I know, like, hear me out. I know Super Mario World is better than Mario 3. In all aspects. Mario 3 is better because when it came out, when I was a kid, it meant more to me, and it had better Happy Meal toys. So Mario 3, Mitch Flower Power is right, the greatest video game of all time. Short, difficult levels, fun, and it just, the art style, everything about Mario 3 was my favorite. And I played that game so much, like through college. I had my friends playing the Game Boy Advance one. I remember going to Canada for the first time. We were young kids. We drove to Canada. Instead of seeing Niagara Falls or going to the casinos, we hung out playing Mario 3 on the Game Boy Advance, seeing how far we could go. Like, I just absolutely love that game. And so GDQ, the Mario show, like just being the best part, as well as, I've played every Mario game, every mainline Mario game. Get out of here, Mario is missing. But I love them. They're so well done. They're fun. And I think that's why I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy, is that no matter what comes out of Nintendo, for the most part, is going to be terrible online, but it is going to be fun. So I'm all about it.
That is so true. It's going to be terrible online experience. Except I will say, like, stuff like, for some reason, they put their online expertise into games like Mario Golf, Mario Party, but they don't put it into like Smash Brothers or something like that. I don't know why. And those other games work great. They're flawless online, but you go to play like something that's actually semi-competitive and it just falls apart.
Don't even get me started about Mario Strikers. I will rant. We're going to need 3 podcasts for me to rant because the game is so good. And yet, if we wanted to play a 4-on-4 game, let's say all of us wanted to be on a team, we can't do it unless I fly to Jackson's house and you fly to Ashley's house. You can only have 2 switches per team. This is 2023. What?
I think I did read about. I totally forgot about that.
Me and my buddies all bought the game because we wanted to be a team. And so, like, these are my buddies from elementary school, and we do a play date every other week to stay close. And so we all bought Mario Strikers. So, like, how do we play on a team? And you can't. You just can't. And it's mind-blowing. All right, I'm ranting again. I'm sorry.
I mean, the thing with Nintendo is they release such polished games, right? And then there's always something. It's not a Nintendo game unless there's something that just pulls the whole experience back in some capacity. One thing I can think of, and I know there's a lot of people who are for it. I don't understand it, but because it drives me nuts, is Animal Crossing. If you remember back beginning of the pandemic, Animal Crossing came out at like the perfect time. It like took everybody, like everybody's playing Animal Crossing. You can only have one island per Switch. And the thing is that like I bought the game and I created the island, and my wife was a resident on the island. She could play. It was technically my island. The problem I ran into is that I had a lot of fun with the game, and then I lost interest like maybe 3 weeks after playing it. I was just like, all right, I'm done. Well, my wife, in order for her to do anything in the game, she can't play her character. She has to log in as me on that island to make any type of decisions. And like, she can't make her own island without wiping all the progress over the past month. And she's like, I don't want to wipe all the progress. And she doesn't want to like time jump. And I know that's a thing and stuff like that. But it's just like, why? Give us the option to make a new island.
It's infuriating. Why do they do this? And yet I love them more than anything else. It's like a toxic relationship, and yet I'm not going anywhere. I'm a Nintendo fanboy for life. Oh, yeah.
We're there to buy it day one still every time.
Do you know with Animal Crossing?
We're ready to get hurt again.
With Animal Crossing, I've never played the game. I've watched a lot of people stream it, but I was terrified to actually play it myself despite dozens of recommendations from people. Because I was scared I was going to get absolutely engrossed in the game, obsessed with it, and not want to leave my Switch.
It happened. So New Leaf on the 3DS. This is back when I worked at a movie theater, which was the best job of all time. If you could ever work, because it's like 10 minutes of work when the movie's going in, and then 2 hours of nothing when because it was like it was a fourplex, so we only had 4 screens. They all went in at the same time, and so. Playing the 3DS, New Leaf. I played the Animal Crossing New Leaf for like 2 years straight until one day I'm like, I forgot to water my flowers. Oh no. And then I'm like, wait, why am I watering my flowers? Like, I need to reevaluate my life choices. And so, but it took over my life for a while.
Yeah, the one on Switch was the first one that I got into. I did have New Leaf on 3DS. It never clicked with me. But once we got the one on Switch, that one is the first time I actually played it for. It wasn't that long. I know some people are still playing it, but I played it for like 3 weeks maybe. Pretty hardcore though, and I did enjoy my time. And then I just fell off of it hard. Something happened. I don't know. I just fell off of it, lost total interest, and then it just made for a bad experience for my wife because she's not the mayor. I think you're the mayor in it or something like that. She's no longer the mayor. Or she never was, so she can't. So if she wants to do any type of building, any type of landscaping, she has to log in on my account and go in there. It's just like, Nintendo, I love you, but why these decisions?
Jackson, did you ever play Animal Crossing?
Yeah, I remember I was working at a Wendy's, and unlike Cheesepopps movie theater experience, dude, that job sucked. But the one thing that made it worth it was that I bought Animal Crossing. During break, I just go out to my car, and for like half an hour to an hour, whatever they allowed me at the time, I just pull out my Switch and play Animal Crossing, and it was just the most peaceful experience of my entire day. And it lasted for like a good 2 weeks or something like that. And then I got bored of it, kind of like Poncho as well. But it was a nice game to have at that moment. It did come out at the perfect time.
I would not have survived at Wendy's. Like, I saw a clip on YouTube, like someone put like a GoPro, like a 5-minute section of working at McDonald's. I was exhausted watching it. Like, you just go the entire time. Like, that is not my style. Like, I need to talk and run my mouth and not do work, and it's just boom, 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 boom. Like,
I mean,
I worked at a McDonald's for a summer maybe or something like that, fresh out of high school. And there is no downtime. It's just work. Mm-hmm. You can't really have a conversation ever with people. It's just work. That's all it is. So, where were we even start? Oh, we were talking about you. We were talking about you on Twitch, and somehow we ended up on McDonald's. This is the perfect podcast.
Welcome to Arcade Parlor.
Yeah, this is the perfect podcast. But it's finally someone's putting a podcast on the internet about video games, and it's us. That's who we are. But no, that's a great story to hear. Like I said, it's great to hear the perspective, because everybody's streaming for a reason, right? For me, for example, it's just like I just watch I just watched Twitch, and I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. Let me try it. I don't have intentions going full time with it ever. It's just a fun thing I do in the evenings after the kids go to bed, 4 days a week or something. And it's just a good time. I meet cool people. I mean, I'm sitting here with 3 cool people right now. And we've all found each other through different veins of Twitch in some fashion. And it's just, this is what I want. It's cool. Just a couple nights a week, just hanging out, just chatting about the dumbest things imaginable. But it's so much fun.
It is an absolute blast. And I love, like, there's so much creativity you can put into it. There's so much randomness. Like, nothing says I have to go go live and play Mario Maker. My first streams were all retro. Like, I wanted to be a Castlevania speedrunner at one point, and I learned the first 3 levels, and then level 3, the bird bridge. I'm like, after one day of practicing, I'm like, you know what? Speedrunning is miserable, and I never want to do this again. And I know you're a world record holder, Ashley, or previous world record holder on Bell's Quest, but I'm like, I can't put in the time. Like, Castlevania is one of my favorite games of all time, but if you mix this one pixel whip, like, you're done. You're done. And I'm like, I need to do something different. And I was having like, the Castlevania speedrun community was amazing. Like, they reached out immediately to me. Here's all the resources. And I'm like, this is awesome. I could see getting into it. But after that first day, I'm like, I need to do something different. So, like, my first couple streams were, I think I did X-Men Clone Wars on Genesis. Wow. I did, like, Garfield. It was a Genesis game. It's like Garfield's in the TV for some reason. Ronald McDonald on Genesis.
Yes.
An amazing game.
Yes.
Underrated, because Treasure made it out of nowhere. Treasure's like, we need money. McDonald's like, we'll make you a Ronald McDonald game, and it absolutely rocks. And I did a bunch of those streams because I absolutely love retro. I love retro streams, and I didn't get a lot of traction. Like, it was my buddy Pipes would be hanging out with me. No one's gonna know who he is, so I don't know why I name dropped him. But like I've had a few real life friends that would come in and hang out, and it was still just me and one other person, or me talking to myself, and like, I'm having the time of my life doing it because I love these. And I think it's just one random day I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play Mario Maker 2 because these are some of my best streams, that I had like 5 people in there. And like, I have never seen 5 people in a stream in my entire, like, after months of streaming. It's always me, 1, and if it goes up to 2, now I'm nervous, and I've since learned to turn the numbers off, because like, when you first start, you'll see the 2 go down to 1, and you're like, oh no, they didn't like me, and it hurts so hard. It's like, no, not everyone likes everyone. Like, it's fine. And it's just from then I was hooked, and then people would come in and share their levels, and I'm like, oh wait, so I can literally turn on a game. It's something new every time I turn it on. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I don't have to plan for content. People just come and hand the content to me. And so people are like, oh, how do you do viewer levels? It's like, I'm lazy. I don't want, like, oh, what am I doing today? Endless grinds, this and this. Like, no, I don't have to think. I can just come in, run my mouth, shoot a laser or 2, and the content is generated from level. And it's also, one of my favorite parts of Twitch that, I've moved on from YouTube to Twitch, is the interacting, like you said. Like, I've met so many friends. And the fact that I can say, pop into Ashley's stream or Jackson's stream and just be like, hey, how are you doing? And they respond back to me like, oh, we can nerd out together. It's just the coolest thing. And the more interaction I can get in my stream, I think the better. It's why I like marbles and like things like that. Like, that's what I want. I just want to hang out with friends and have fun. And ever since then, It's been a blast.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, with Mario Maker, it is literally every time you boot it up, it's a different game, or it's a different experience almost every time. You never know what you're gonna get, and there's not many games like that are at least popular or have a strong community in the backbone of it or anything like that. It's unique. And it is fun. I mean, if you compare it 1-to-1, I mean, it is different from playing SMW for sure. Physics are totally different. They're a lot floatier and stuff, but the core game is still there. And like you said, you can be lazy. You bring me the content. You tell me what we're chatting about today, instead of me just saying like, oh, I'm gonna jump over here. I'm gonna do this here. I don't know what else to talk about. I had a hot dog for lunch. Which I mean, always say if you have a hot dog for lunch, that's good content right there. But for real, it's like you guys tell me what you were talking about. If I'm doing a YouTube video, you don't get that. I mean, I understand it's a full different ballpark, right? YouTube, it's different content, and there's no live unless you're doing YouTube gaming, of course. But a YouTube video, there's no live interaction, so you just have to be a really good solo personality, which is an entirely different, more skillful set of abilities, in my opinion, is to have a YouTube video out there that people want to watch the whole 20 minutes of it. Like, that is way more skillful than somebody sitting there for a 3-hour stream. There's a lot more skill involved there.
Oh yeah. My YouTube videos are hot garbage, and I love them still because they're there, and I think forever. I don't know how YouTube works, but like, 10 years from now, I can go watch some clips from when I was really good at Mario, which it's going to be a ton of fun. So, regardless of how many views I get, like, I'm really proud of my terrible, I don't know how to edit. I just take clips and I throw them together, and if it works, well, it hasn't worked, but it's still, it's fun to have that content out there.
And here's an example that cracks me up. I saw a TikTok of yours the other day, Cheesepopps, and this is something that you're not going to get like in a YouTube video, but for some reason you were doing this difficult level. I could tell it was difficult. You've probably been grinding it for a while, and you were talking about the proper way to brush your teeth. and it was like, this is only something you're gonna get from Twitch, is that somebody said something about teeth brushing, and you're doing this whole description of the proper way to brush your teeth, and you just cleared a level, and it just cracked me up. It's like, this is awesome.
Those are my favorite, when like I'm always bummed out. Like inside, I try not to show it because like I want to be having fun. I want everyone to have fun. But like when you have a really stupid, pointless conversation, those are the perfect times to get the win. Like, so if I say something stupid like ketchup is bad, like I know ketchup is good, but I know it's polarizing. It's bad on a hot dog. But it's just like stuff like that is just so much fun. Or if I say something like, Sticky Pops better make me a sandwich or something stupid like that, like it always. That makes me smile, and I make her a sandwich and apologize. Right?
Yep. Oh, that's so funny. That's what I've moved on to that stuff like that. Like I don't enjoy video editing by any means, but the way that at least with like TikToks and YouTube Shorts, that's the only thing I'm putting out there that's not live, right? Because it's so easy. There's so many websites that'll just take your clips, ingest it, and then they'll let you split it into nice windows and stuff like that so easily. And it's like, oh, this is fun. Oh, I can throw a stupid song on here. That's Jurassic Park, but with fart noises or something like that. And it's great. It's hilarious. It takes like minutes to do.
Yeah, that is the extent of my editing. It's the shorts, and then the longer videos are the shorts put together. That's it. Editing is hard and boring. I don't want to do it.
Who's good at editing? Jackson, aka Bleachy Me.
Yeah, I have had some experience with editing. I started with like some photography classes just in junior high, but then I went to video production. I'm like, oh, editing's kind of cool. And I've done that for a few years now. And I know so little about editing for how much time I put into it. And I'm just not that good of an editor because I haven't been as consistent. Because there's definitely times when like I have an idea for a video in my head and I'm like, oh, wait, I could edit this if I want to. And then 20 hours later, I'm still editing the video. And it is not fun. I definitely get that. It can be a drag sometimes.
Oh.
But it's a nice skill to have, especially in the content sphere.
The worst is when you have an idea, or like for this one small part, it'd be great if I zoomed in right here. And then you spend 10 hours trying to figure out how to zoom in right here.
Exactly.
And ultimately you give up. And so you spend 10 hours doing nothing. And so I got my degree in communications media. You would think I would have some sort of idea of how to edit, but the 20s were a different time, my 20s, and I didn't learn a lot from that degree. So I'm still terrible at everything.
It's a whole different ball game. Yeah, Jackson, I've seen some of your shorts that you put like on TikTok and stuff. Definitely more production value than something that I would do.
It takes much longer, dude. It's not worth it to put that much effort into a short on TikTok.
I mean, just listen to the production value behind this.
I like beans.
Oh my goodness.
Just listen to that.
Yeah.
That production value.
That's when I had my $1,000 mic. It broke. I can't use it anymore. No, it wasn't $1,000. That was probably. It's worth $1,000 after listening to those 3 words. But
Agreed.
Beans are great too.
Yeah, they are. He loves them. If you ever go to Jackson's stream, twitch.tv/bleachy_B, you'll just hear it constantly. I like beans constantly.
Yeah, everyone else in my community likes it just as much as I do, apparently. Just maybe a little too much, but
What is your go-to bean? Like, are you a garbanzo, a pinto, a black bean?
I don't even know. Like, I don't have a preferred bean. I just eat beans sometimes, and I said it out loud, and that just became a thing. I wish I had an opinion on beans. I really wish I did, but
I'm wondering, like, what made you like decide to record a 3-second YouTube video and upload it with your logo of you just saying "I like beans"? Like, what was it like? This is the content that needs to be on YouTube. These 3 words.
I was messing around with what's it called? Adobe Animate, whatever animation software Adobe uses, and
Afterworks or something.
Yeah, I just wanted to make something that would sync up with audio, like just a human mouth that's just syncing up with audio, and just practice that. So I recorded a random line of dialogue, otherwise known as "I like beans," and then made a little animation for it. I'm like, you know what? I'm putting this on YouTube. This is the first thing I'm ever going to post to YouTube ever, and I'm going to be proud about it.
Is it your most watched video?
It might be. For a good reason.
That's how it works, though. You put in time and effort on a video, and you put it out, you get nothing. But then if you like just throw something together at the last second with a little tagline, "I like beans," and it just explodes up, and that's where you're like, why am I trying? Just do it. Just have fun with it.
The more organic, the better.
That's honestly something that I've been saying recently. It lines up exactly what you said, Cheesepopps. Emotes. You can spend money on emotes, people use them, but as soon as you upload the dumbest emote that took you 5 seconds and it was free to make, that emote will be the one that everybody uses, and they'll no longer use the ones that you paid, like whatever the package is for like 5 emotes, which isn't cheap. Emotes are relatively they're pretty pricey for custom made emotes. But as soon as you upload the dumbest screenshot of yourself, and it's free, didn't cost you a penny, that's the one that people use all the time.
I see that dumb hot dog emote that I have at the most inappropriate times in like so many streams, and I'm just sitting there thinking emote. Like, it's a good emote. Like,
it's great.
It's awesome.
I racked my brain forever because I love the 2-part emotes or the 3-part ones, like the ones you can use together. I'm like, what can I add, like a Snorlax one? I tried so hard for like a day. I did everything I could to think of one, and then I gave up and just put a hot dog, and now it's like my most popular emo, and it's like, it's what I get for trying.
It's so good.
The hot dog is your most popular emote, would you say?
Yeah, I think it's my second, like, because it's 3 of them, they kind of get like broken up, but yeah, it's just the one I see the most outside of my stream. That's such a cool feeling, right? When you see a Bleachy Bee emote out there in a stream that's not your own, and you're kind of just lurking. It is the most heartwarming. I love it. I love Twitch. It's so much fun.
I know. I see a lot of people combo a Bleachy and Cheesepopps emote a lot. Bleachy's Pog emote. My God, is that a wide mouth on that emote? It's just so perfect to pair with the Cheesepopps hot dog. It's just a classic combination. It's so good.
The emotes are great. They're just great. The stupid combinations that everybody comes up with. It'll just crack you up. It'll just crack you up. The most innocent emote, and people find something crazy to do with it. It's just the funniest thing.
So true.
Yeah. So let's go back just a little bit. Just a little bit. Gaming in particular. Cheesepopps, you said that GDQ, you watched Mario ROM hacks, right? That was the thing, right? You watched that before Mario Maker stuff. Have you played any ROM hacks before?
So I have a few. I beat level 1 of Grand Poo World 2, which I thought I was the greatest video game player of all time at that point, because
Wow.
this was before I streamed Mario, and like I played every Mario, I beaten every Mario, I 100%ed pretty much every Mario, but I never took it to I'm like, there's always that doubt, like, can you get better at the game? And it's always cool to listen to the people that are really good. Always give the best advice. It's like, you're not just good. I've played for thousands and thousands and thousands of hours doing the same thing. So like with Mario, which I love Maker so much, like you can do every trick. Within 5 minutes, you could probably do a shell jump if you sit there and tried to do a shell jump for 5 minutes. Are you going to be bored and miserable and die over and over again? But Sticky Pops tried one. And within 5 minutes, she did a shell jump, and she was really excited. She's like, all right, I don't want to do that anymore. Because it can be like a grind, but like I love Mario, and beating that level was kind of like, holy smokes, I might be able to get good at this game at some point. But then we started putting in the hours to Maker, and I love ROM hacks. I love the idea that you can do anything in them. And like you get all those classic, like there's nothing cooler watching someone play a ROM hack and then you hear a classic Donkey Kong Country tune instead of the typical Mario or Mega Man X music. And
Mega Man X, yes.
You get so hyped and it's so cool. So I know ROM hacks are in my future, but right now, like I'm not super competitive. I'm competitive in a weird way. Like I want to constantly get better. Like if me and you were in a race, Ashley, and Mario Maker, I hope you win. Like I wish you the best of luck. But I want to be, if I see you win, I want to be like, I want to be that good someday.
Yes.
So, like, I'm competitive, and not that I need to win everything. I'm competitive that, like, it is really hard for me to watch these streamers do all of these insane tricks and combo them together. And, like, I want to do that too. And so, like, I'm really laser focused. And, like, I'm still having so much fun with Mario Maker. Like, I know ROM hacks are in the future. And that's something I'm definitely going to do because I have I watched all of those YouTube videos. I watch streamers do it. Like a lot of times I prefer watching a ROM hack stream than a Maker stream. But like mentally, I am not good enough yet at Mario Maker 2 to allow myself to move on and put in the time. Because like I want to be good at that at some point. And what's nice is I have the time to do it.
Right.
And so like at some point I'm just gonna have to tell myself like you can get good at both of them at the same time. You don't have to only do one. But like mentally jumping over that hurdle, I'm not ready yet.
You said something that made me think how you, Cheesepopps, really inspired me individually, because you're talking about Mario 3. Maybe it's because you and I are the oldest people sitting in this room right now. But Mario 3 is also my favorite Mario. And the difference between a Mario 3 and a ROM hack or a Mario Maker, you are doing the same moves every time for years, grinding the same levels. It's the same game. And even though it's fun and it's a great time, you memorize. I know in Mario 3, like, if I'm playing, let's say, like, the sun level in World 2, right? I think it's number 4. Or it's actually not even its old. It's the one with the sand. I know by the music when I'm supposed to touch the button, because I've memorized it so much. But the difference with a Mario Maker or a ROM hack, you know the moves. And I see you, Cheesepopps, and you do these viewer levels, and it's something you've never seen before, and you just clutch these levels, you kill it, you beat them so fast. So to me, it's so much more about learning the mechanics of the game rather than memorizing a level, and you just do it so skillfully.
I see that my bribe reached you. Thank you for saying those kind words. No, but yeah, it is so much fun. And I hear, like, the more you play the game, the better you get. The more you're able to recognize, like, oh, this situation is just this, and like, whereas before a shell jump, I'd get 1 out of 10. Now I'm closer to like 5 out of 10. Sure. And then, you start, comboing them together. Because there's only, in Mario Maker 2, of course, there's endless ways you can put it together, but there's only so much you can you kind of start seeing patterns, and there's still huge grinds, levels that kick my butt and continue to kick my butt, and as long as they're fun, I will go back and play them again, because that's the one thing. Like, even if I don't beat that level, I'm gonna be better for it, and it just I have a blast doing it, and it's really cool to do a new trick for the first time, or something you haven't seen for the first time. It's such an adrenaline rush. So I try to stay focused. Like, of course, hitting the flagpole, you get those endorphins in your brain, and that's good. But I'm lucky enough, I get those endorphins like, oh, I did a double shell jump, let's go. I still have those rushes in the level. So even if I don't win, I'm still having fun.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, there's always room for learning, right? It's like, there's always more improvement that can happen, right? You can do a double shot. Oh, let's throw a triple or a quadruple, the elusive quadruple, or, I don't know, a vertical 20 in a row going straight up a wall, right? It's just so dumb that those exist.
I think I got an octuple at one point was my best one, but the best advice, like, hey, if you can do one, just do two. And like, why stop at 2? It's just the same thing again. So I don't know how people set this up,
I mean, at that point, it's just muscle memory. Just do that same motion, and then and don't think about it. The second you think about it, you're gonna miss. The second you do,
you're done. Like, wait, when do I let go of the Y button and then hit the beep? Wait, no, and then you're like, you might as well turn off the game, because now you can't even run.
That's the thing with I run into that when I used to play it more often, Rock Band. I would always play drums, and if I turned my mind off, I would do really well. The second I'd start thinking about that bass pedal, or the right stick, or the weird pattern, like, that's when I just fail out. The screen goes red immediately. I just have to go cruise control, turn off my mind, enjoy the music. It's just the exact same thing.
I miss Rock Band and Guitar Hero so much. It had like the same effect on me and my friends like Tony Hawk did. When Tony Hawk came out, we're like, we're all good skateboarders, and we all bought skateboarders, and all of us couldn't even ollie or stay on it. And then, Rock Band comes out, and we're like, we should make a band. And we all get guitars, and like 10 seconds in, it's like, wait, why did we do this? None of us have any musical talent whatsoever.
It's the immersion.
Oh, I miss it so much. Like, hopefully they'll have to bring that back at some point, right? Or is it still out there and I just don't know?
Harmonix brought Rock Band 4 out. When was that? That was in the PS4, Xbox One era, but I don't know. I don't know if what Harmonix is doing these days. I actually have Rock Band 4, and I have my drums and 2 guitars in our crawl space right now. And I've thought about doing something on Twitch, delete the VOD afterwards, whatever. But just really fun. Just go there and play, I don't know, some Green Day and just have a good time.
I did the same. Go ahead, Cheesepopps.
Oh, just like I missed that experience so much, just hanging out with friends, and anytime you can make a fool of yourself with friends like that, I'm all in. Count me in.
Big agree. I actually play guitar, and it's the same thing as you, Poncho. I feel like it's with any game. If you think too much about it, you're gonna mess up. But if you just kind of like go with the flow and let yourself actually get immersed in the game, it just goes so much better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Does Jackson even know what Guitar Hero is, or are you too young?
Dude, I'm like 3 years old, man. I missed that wave, and I feel so bad about it. Like, I see my other friends, and they have their older siblings and whatnot. And they have Rock Band, they have Guitar Hero, they got to play those fun games. I didn't get that. I didn't get that experience. That's definitely something that I miss out on. Like, I haven't played a lot of the earlier Mario games, or I haven't beat them, just because I'm younger. That wasn't part of my generation. and I miss those. But I really, really do wish that I had Guitar Hero in my life, specifically that.
One of the coolest parts is that your non-nerd friends wanted to play, Rock Band and Guitar Hero. And so, like, normally, all right, I'm playing video games by myself, or at most, they'll want to play Madden. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, at least it's a video game. But, like, now you get a video game that's fun, that non-video game players want to play. And that is such a cool experience. It's kind of like Wii bowling when you're playing with your grandmother and she's like, you know what? This is fun. You're like, I never thought I'd play a video game with my Meemaw, but here we are.
There's nothing like watching your grandma bowl and celebrating about getting that turkey right there.
Oh, it just wrecks you
right in the living room.
How are they so good? I have been training my entire life to whoop my Meemaw at this video game, and she's getting up there rolling like 270s. Like I swear, like if they the elderly put their time into like speed running, they would be the best because they pick one game and that's it. This is their entire video game library, this one game, and they master it, and they just taunt you mercilessly with their skill.
Dude, just imagine you're a grandma just dunking on your SMW run.
It's gonna happen.
Dude, I've thought of it. Imagine, like, in the future, assisted living homes, nursing homes, we're all gonna be sitting there playing Smash Brothers together.
Yep.
We're gonna be just so competitive.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be amazing.
I can't wait. Let me know what home you're looking into. Like, I'm already ready. Like,
we'll play some Mario Kart together.
There's an episode of Simpsons where like Homer like assumes the identity of someone in a old folks home, and he loves it. I'm like, that's me. They feed you and they take care of you. You have no responsibilities, and I can just play games. Count me in.
Oh man. It'll be something else. All right, so games. I mean, we I think this is the most video game discussion we've had this early on into the podcast. It's just been running over. But I have one more question before we get into games maybe we're playing right now or something like that. Cheesepopps, you said big retro. You like retro. So I mean, this is still games and stuff, but what do you have any older, like, do you have any cool things in your collection, cool consoles, cool just like, I don't know, maybe like a cool original copy of a game, or just something that's like cool? It's like, this is something from when I was young, I still have this thing is awesome to have as a collector's item.
So I am not a hoarder, but I have, to the best of my ability, never given away any video game thing that I purchased. So like, if I buy the game, I have it, even if I hate it, with the exception of my Super Nintendo, which my mother gave to my cousin Chris, which I want back, but that's okay. I bought a new one and replaced all the games that I lost, but I still want my original one back. I think we have two Super Nintendo. It doesn't matter. But I got a Virtual Boy behind me. Wow. We have two Sega Saturns because me and my wife were the two not smart people that purchased the Sega Saturn growing up, and our collection is not great there, but pretty much, behind me you can see like part of it here. I guess the podcast can't, but I've got well over 100, maybe closer to 200 NES games, like a bunch of Super Nintendo, a bunch of Sega, a bunch of Atari. Like, so I'm gonna buy every Nintendo system moving forward. So I have a bunch of those games too. A little bit of Xbox, but I think the Virtual Boy is probably the biggest conversational piece. I did not buy that when it came out. I bought it for $20 after it failed at, I can't remember if it was Electronics Boutique or GameStop yet. But me and my buddy, like, we were in the mall, and yes, we hung out in the mall. That's how old I am. And we were walking past, and you go in the store, and there's Manager Mark, and you're like, oh, Virtual Boy, $20. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And it's it's one of those, it's not a good system, but I'm glad I have it, and I'll still bust it out every now and again and just play it for 5 minutes and realize, like, how did this get past the design phase? Because nothing about this seems like a good idea.
No, nothing about it did. But that is cool to own, though, a Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
That's definitely, it's more unique for sure. A lot of people don't own it, and they got rid of it.
I lucked out too. Like, it was in my college when I worked at the greatest job of all time, the movie theater. across the street was a pawn shop. And so every day I worked, I'd walk across the street. And this was before like retro took off. And so literally every video game was $1 or $2. And now you look and try to buy a retro game, you're looking at $15,
Sure.
$16. So as soon as the price, got kind of out of hand for most of these games, I'm like, okay, I have pretty much every game I had from my childhood that I may have lost. And like my collections I have every game that I want to play on console. So anything I would get moving forward, and I haven't bought a retro game in a while. I'm not going to pay $15 for a Nintendo cartridge at this point. So I lucked out. Like, all of this was bought cheap. The only thing that I have regrets is I had a Dreamcast and a ton of sweet games for it. I loved my Dreamcast, and I still have a few of the games, but at some point along the way, the Dreamcast is gone, and I meant to replace it. And for a while there, I'm like, oh, $40 for Dreamcast. I'll get it, next year or something. And then I looked recently, and the price is just like, I can't warrant
justify
that. Yeah, and
for how much you'll actually touch it,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's not like you're gonna sit there and be like, all right, I'm gonna play this 30 hours a week. I'm gonna be playing this thing, but yeah, it's hard when it's just gonna sit there.
yeah.
For our listeners,
My biggest regret of something getting rid of is probably my N64, honestly. I had so many good memories on that. And I think we sold it like on a garage sale or something like that. And when I was young, and not like at that age, you're just not like into, I'll want this later or something like that. And that's probably my biggest thing that I miss is the N64. I was looking at them the other day because, emulators exist, but there's nothing like having that hardware, putting that game in the top, holding the old, I don't even know what you call that monstrosity of a controller, but there's nothing like holding it and playing the game.
It's the Virtual Boy of controllers. It's just sometimes, how do these get past the design phase? Like, what is happening? It doesn't matter.
It's such a bad controller, but I have so many good memories on that controller.
Do you know, I still have every console I've ever owned in my life. And I'm not, just like you, Cheesepopps, I'm not a hoarder at all. But I kept my consoles. They meant a lot to me. And it wasn't even like, oh, these are going to be worth money. It was like, I want to play these games for the rest of my life, so I don't want to lose them. And I'm probably the only person in the world who still has their original N64 controllers. And I definitely used the crap out of the analog stick in Mario Party. For sure, and they still work perfectly. Oh yeah, the palm spin.
Yes.
Drill the hole in your hand.
Yep.
The whole.
Yeah, for real.
It's brutal, and like that's the one hard part that I'm coming across now is like my old controllers from the original console are like my Nintendo. The select button doesn't work. The run button doesn't work. So I bought 2 Nintendo controllers for the original NES. So I'm playing on original hardware with this cheap knockoff controller, and it doesn't have the same, like, there's something about playing Mario 3 on the Nintendo, having to go, into the cartridge, even though, weirdly, Windex works fine. If you put Windex on a Q-tip, it cleans it in a second, and everyone had Windex,
Really?
and yet no one knew that. And, like, I think it's safe. At least the last time I did it, I look it up, and, like, Windex is perfectly fine to clean it and safe for it. It's probably not. Look it up before you do it. If you're listening to this podcast, I am an idiot, but that always worked fine to clean them off. But like, there's something about playing on original hardware for me. It hits different. Like when I plug in my Atari, and I was older. Like my friend had an Atari in his basement, and even back then we thought that was an ancient system.
Yep.
But it's still so much fun for like if I have like a party or something, I have people over to bust out the Atari, because it's a joystick and one button. Everyone's gonna have fun trying to play some Stampede or Space Invaders or something like that, and it's so cool to see that the original hardware can still work like a tank. It's nuts how well built they were.
Oh yeah. I just remember, I don't know. The N64. I just have so many memories on that thing. It was mostly for me. It was like Perfect Dark Played so much Perfect Dark. My cousin would come over, like, in the summers, like, my cousin would come over for, like, a week or something like that. And we just played Perfect Dark nonstop against AIs. Just the dumbest scenarios we could set up, and it was just so much fun. But yeah, it was just great. And I that's the one regret that I have out of all the consoles that maybe I've gotten rid of in my past that were my choice. It's the N64, because there's no way there's backwards compatibility with that thing on a future console, other than like virtual, if you will, like I don't know, whatever Nintendo Switch's online thing is, but that's still a limited release, and in the end, it's still emulation. But that's the one thing that I'm like, I wish I had kept that thing. That thing was so cool, cool.
I love my N64. I struggle because I had a CRT TV, there we go. Sure. And it finally died. And so now I have like a little converter thing for like a couple of bucks off Amazon. But it looks so muddy on like the new fancy TVs. I'm still trying to figure out like a good way to play it on console, on TV. I just need to find another CRTV at some point. But when you play...
They exist. They're expensive though. Like a FrameMeister, or a FrameMeister's like $900 now or something like that, because you can't find them. Or there's the OSCCR. I can't remember. It's an open source FrameMeister that's cheaper, but still it's expensive.
Speaking of Perfect Dark, has there ever been a more overpowered gun than the laptop gun? Was that what it was called? The laptop gun?
Yes.
You could literally...
That was the one that you could throw on the wall and...
It's a turret. You have like your own turret. That was we would get so mad at each other because not only would we screen watch, well, I would, and then lie about it, because that's the type of person I am.
Yes, of course.
And then I'd be the first to blame Ashley and Jackson for screen watch. And there's no way, Jackson, you saw me.
There's no way I was walking behind you. You just decided to turn around and headshot me. There's no reason other than screen peeking.
There's no radar on. You didn't know that.
This is reminding me. I don't know if you guys ever played it, but the game Donkey Kong 64 had a multiplayer that was kind of like GoldenEye, kind of like Perfect Dark. It was like, it wasn't, I don't think it was first person. I think it was still third person, but it was a shooting game. You collected your cannons that would shoot coconuts out as Donkey Kong, and you played a third person shooter shooting each other in a Donkey Kong game. It was awesome.
That's what Rare did, You might as well throw a shooter in. I remember it was like, did he have the peanut gun?
Yes.
We played that a little bit, but like, I will never forget. Like, it was such a cool time. Like, every day after school, we would walk to my friend's house, and from like Nintendo 64 on until we graduated, every day after school we're playing a video game like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Smash Brothers, NFL Blitz for a week. That was a fun week, and then we got into like a fight because that game is just but like we would play Marvel vs. Capcom, and like I have the fondest memories of those times, like, and I'm still friends with all of them to this day, and like we get together and just talk about those stories. Like, I know their mains on Smash, you got Ness, you got my one friend was Luigi, and he was not good, but man, he tried. You
gotta play the character you love,
right?
Who's your Smash main?
Ooh, okay, I love this conversation. Let's start with Melee, because we played Smash on 64, but I don't think I had a main there. We didn't play it a ton. I think we all just rolled around and tried to get the Pokeballs, because that was like Pokemon Mania at that time. But I love that. It's so good. Just wait, Smash on 64 good. Was like just throw everyone, right? Like throws were just beastly.
Yep, pretty much.
Which is fun. But on Melee, I would always play as Dr. Mario. I love the cape. The biggest troll move in the game. Wow. And my buddy always played as Samus. And when I played, I would always just watch, where is Samus at any given time? Because you know what Samus is going to do? Going to charge that beam and shoot it, and then you're going to see some jerk doctor jump up with the cape and launch it the other way. So even if it doesn't hit Samus, it's hitting someone. And Dr. Mario's jump punch, where he just does that like hammer down punch.
The Superman punch.
Just wrecks. So I loved Dr. Mario, and we always played 4 lives each. And like the biggest achievement we could do in that game was getting 12 KOs. That means you wrecked every single person playing.
Wow.
All of their lives. And I got a few of those with Dr. Mario. One of my greatest moments was doing that with Jigglypuff. Just flying around doing that. What is it? Down B special that launches people. They were like...
Yes. If you can actually land it, yes.
They would get
it's so difficult.
Angry. It was cool is that, like, my friends back then, they were better than me. Like, my buddy Kevin, my buddy Pipes, like, they would we all played the game the same amount of time, and they outclassed me. That forced me to be better at the game, too. Like, it was no joke. The competition was real, and what was cool was that, like, very rarely did it ever go past, like, hey, we're just friends having fun. And so, like, we could sit there, other than when they would cheat and screen watch, even though I was doing it too. I'm allowed to do it. They were not allowed. But
of course,
Dr. Mario was an absolute beast.
And the one move also Dr. Mario we haven't discussed was his back throw. When he would throw backwards, he would spin around like 3 times and just launch. He had a really strong back throw in Melee. And I think that was also in the newest one, Ultimate. I think it's still pretty decent, but he had that back throw that was good as well. So Dr. Mario, who is your Brawl main? Who is your Brawl main?
So Brawl was on the Wii, and I do this weird thing where I kind of take, and I do this with Mario. I'll buy the game, but I'll kind of take a generation off. So with Brawl, I think I tried to be good with Dr. Mario again, but it just wasn't the same. I think at that point, and like also it came out when I was in college, and we didn't like. That was the point where, like, when the GameCube was out, every day after school we're playing games, and then that was that span of time where like now it's kind of just me playing games, and online wasn't a huge thing yet. Like I don't even think Halo was online yet, and so I had it, and just we didn't play it a ton. Like, and that goes the same for the Wii U one. Like, I have all of the Mario Karts, I have all the Smash Brothers, but I didn't put in a ton of time for those games. So I wouldn't say I played everyone with those, just random. And I could not recreate the magic with Dr. Mario as much as every time I buy a Smash Brothers, I'm going to try Dr. Mario, and just, I don't know if they nerfed them. I can't get a smash. Like, if I hit someone, they do not go off the cliff anymore. Whereas in the other game, you hit someone with Dr. Mario and they just launched.
Yeah.
But
so games we're playing now. Guys, usually we go around the room here, and we're just like, hey, what are you guys? And you can talk about what you're playing on Twitch, of course. Playing offline games as well. Just doing something on the side. I can go ahead and start. There's been a couple things that I've been playing on the side. Since our last episode, is it since our last? No, our last episode. No, we had the baby by the last episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this is episode 2 since we had the baby. But I still had some downtime because I was off work for like 6 weeks with paternity leave and stuff like that in the holidays. So I had some downtime. I started replaying Uncharted 4 on my PS5.
Wow.
And I forgot how good that game is. It still looks good. It's a pretty game. I mean, Naughty Dog always knocks out of the park with graphics. The gameplay can get a little wonky sometimes with the climbing and stuff, but overall, it's still a good game. I really like Uncharted 4. Still a really good experience. Good story, good action, just some really fun set pieces. Other than that, have I been playing anything else? There's offline. I don't think I have, but I think this is a good time to talk about it. On stream, I've started something brand new just this past week. It was something for 2023 that I'm starting to do now. It's more retro. I never had a Sega console growing up, and none of my friends did. We were all Nintendo. So I look at like the Sega Genesis. There are a lot of cool games. Now, there's a lot of games that were on Super Nintendo also that were on Genesis. But there was a lot of games only on Genesis. So, and I was looking at the library. It's like, man, there's some cool games. I hear people talk about this game all the time. I hear people talking about, oh, this one's also on Super Nintendo, but it plays way better on the Genesis. Mm-hmm. It just looks better. It controls better. So I've taken upon myself, and this is going to take me an extremely long time, and I'm aware of that. But I created this thing called the Segathon, where I'm going through the entire Genesis library and trying every game, number through Z. I'm doing it like Sunday nights, and then on Monday I'm doing it as well. But I have the whole library on my Mister, and it's just trying. Minimum 20 minutes. I'm trying to give the game a chance. I've already come across somewhere. I'm like, I got to play this for 19 more minutes.
Yep.
Great. But it's all fun because it's nostalgia, and it's like, man, we used to play games like this, and we used to think they were the greatest and the best games ever, and
Of
they're
course.
garbage.
Just turn the volume down for Marble Madness. Like, I'm going to tell you right now. Marble Madness. Just mute it. Trust me. Or turn it up the whole way and ruin a lot of people's ears. But you're going to have...
There was one game called, like, Acrobat or something like that.
I got it.
And level 1 or 2 has the stupid circus song on repeat loop of, like, 16 seconds. And it just kept going and going and going. And I was playing that level for the full 20 minutes because it was a hard level. And I was like, I'm going crazy. This stupid circus theme.
It was so
for
bad.
Like 20 minutes.
I was there.
And I think it makes for great content though, because it's stuff that a lot of people are like, oh, I remember this. And it's stuff that I've never seen. Like, I've never seen Acrobat before. And I know there's an Acrobat 2, which I think I'm starting with tomorrow night, being Sunday. That's the very next game that I left off on. And I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, the games are minimum 20 minutes that I'm going for. If I really like the game, I might play it to completion. And that might take a few streams or something, because some of those games are like that. But there's just some games I'm like, this is cool. I'm going to keep playing this. I don't have an end date. It's not like a 1-year challenge or anything like that. It's just like, as we go, I'm still playing Mario all the time, but I'm like, I want to do this. This is fun. Just try these old games. There's like 800 some games I got to get through.
You're gonna love it.
There's a game I'm so excited for you to play, and Cheesepopps, I know you like The Simpsons. Did you ever play a Sega Genesis game called Virtual Bart?
He is not. Why would you set him up to like that game?
I loved that game.
No, no.
Am I the only one?
Yes, it's not a good game. I love the Simpsons games, but it's where you're going down the slide, and then there's also where you're a pig in a meat factory.
Yep, and you throw the tomatoes on picture day at everybody.
The tomato one is fun.
That's
the tomato
the best one.
That is the best one. The slide one is fun, but it's unfair. You're going to be going down a slide, Poncho, and then they're going to be like, left or right? You're going to go left. You're like, you should have picked right. You're dead. And I'm like, how is that? How am I supposed to know?
That is so indicative of the generation of those days.
I love the graphics in the game are good, and it is one of the most I watched a retro streamer play that game to completion and beat it. This is one of the best video game players I have ever seen in my life.
Hard.
And the swear words and the struggle, it was weeks long before he could beat the game because it's so unfair. Did it have Godzilla Bart too?
Yes, that's the dinosaur part, the motorcycle game that you did in there.
You set it up to be good. All right, I cannot wait for that stream. That's going to be legendary. It is
well,
good.
that's going to be... Well, in theory, that would be a long time, but once per those streams, I do have a channel point redemption that people can redeem for a certain game to jump way to the front, and that's my next game I'm going to touch. I do have a channel point redemption. Once per stream, people can do that if they want to see a game sooner. So maybe we'll be playing Virtual Bart, it's called?
That's what it's
maybe
called.
We'll be playing that tomorrow night or
Still
Monday
have
or
fun.
something, who knows?
How exciting.
Really?
I know.
You don't know, Jackson. Back in the day, we didn't have the internet to tell us what games were good. And so our parents would buy the nicest box art for us, or the back of if you're renting a video game, which was a big deal, you turn the box around, you look at the pictures, you read the description. That's all we had. And so we had a ton of stinkers. I will never forget the Christmas I got like James Pond in the Aquatic Games on Sega Genesis.
Oh my god.
I played it
Pond?
so
Did you
much.
say that?
James Pond with a P.
That's awesome. Why was I not alive in this generation, dude? Oh man.
So many more bad games. You missed out. You mastered them because that's all you had.
And we convinced ourselves they were good because we had them.
Yep.
The one thing I do appreciate, like, and I've only played like maybe, I don't know. I have a spreadsheet that people can find on my stream, and follow the progress of the games. I say how long I've been playing them. I even give it a rating out of 10. My 20 minutes. How much did I enjoy this game? Would I ever come back to it? Stuff like that. But the one thing I'm really enjoying about it is that generation. I don't think there'll be another generation that ages so well in looks as the Super Nintendo, the Genesis.
Yes.
There will, I mean, to this day, Super Mario World looks good. There, NES, you can just tell it's old stuff. But Super Nintendo and Genesis, they just look good. That the pixel art is good. There's a lot of these games. Like I was playing the Addams Family.
Yes.
Not Values, the Addams Family. And somebody in chat pointed out, they're like, I like the 3D look of Gomez's face. And I was like, where? Let me look at it. And as he's standing there, as he like turns his head, it just looks so slick. It's a 3D optical illusion with the way that they do the art, but it just looks so good. It's like this, I don't know when this game came out, but it still looks so good 30 years later or whatever. I'm like, this is great. I love this. Now I know I'm going to get to some games that just don't look good because they tried.
Correct.
They tried stuff. I know it's not going to be in Genesis, but for example, in my opinion, I think Donkey Kong Country is kind of ugly. The way it aged, especially the first one.
On a CRT TV, Country looks insane, but when you see it in HD, you see all the pixels and how they did it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not remembering the original when I played it back then. But nowadays, when I look at it, yeah, it's not good. And I know my Mister, I can put like scan lines on it and stuff, which I'm debating on possibly doing for this, making it try to look as accurate as it was on a CRT, and then put it out to stream and stuff like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. And I'm looking through the options on that, and maybe do something. But I'm really looking forward to this challenge. I just started last week. Sunday nights and Monday nights. That's what I'm doing. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of just garbage that we convinced ourselves were good, and then there's also a lot of real good games in there, and it's really fun to revisit.
Something that always like bums me out a little bit is like how everything went to 3D. Like the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Saturn were 2D powerhouses, but like the PlayStation and their focus was, we're going all 3D. 3D is the future. And they were clearly right. But like, I'm such a 2D fan. I love how it looks, how you said. And like, I love old Sega arcade games with like the scaling, to me still looks so cool to see the pixel art. And, you know, something that bums me is now the modern consoles would crush 2D games. And a lot of times they'll do like, we'll do 3D assets on a like it's still a 2D game, but it's like the new Donkey Kong Country games. They're not new anymore, but like on the Wii and like the Wii U and the Switch, they're amazing games. They're so much fun to play, but I want them to be in the classic pixel art style. And then when they finally do the classic pixel art style, they go back to the Nintendo generation and do everything sort of 8-bit, which is super cool. I like that, but like, do the pixel art, but like do it with the power I want to see scaling. I want to see spinning. Like I want to, and they don't seem to do that. Like Afterburner came out in the 80s or early 90s. I can't remember, and still looks insane to see the ship flip, and to have that on a home console would still blow my mind. And yet, like most of the time, because it's probably cheaper. I don't know anything, but like I would just love to see a 2D pixel art like powerhouse of a game that's not like Shovel Knight looks incredible, but they went 8-bit.
Oh yeah.
I want to see 16 to 32-bit pixel art, but that's because it's probably like other people see it differently than me because I'm old and I liked what I liked when I was a kid. So probably it'll sell to one person. This guy,
right? I mean, I've said it before, and I'm like, I would absolutely love if Nintendo announced a new Mario game. Not like, I mean, I would love to see Mario Maker 3, but like a new side-scrolling Mario game, but an HD'd SMW essentially, right? Brand new game, not just HD'd SMW. That's not what I'm saying. I mean like a brand new game, but they went back to that older pixel art with 4K resolution, 1080p. It's Nintendo. It's gonna be 720p. Knowing them, they're gonna do something like that on our 4K TVs, and I would buy. Like, I would love to see a new mainline Mario that looks like that, but it's a brand new game. And it's like, I don't know if they came out with the new Soup, which I don't like new Super Mario Brothers style at all. I think it's super ugly. And I just wish, I would love to see that. And I love the 3D games. Like Odyssey is a fantastic game. I love it. But I would just love to see them come back to their roots somehow and just release, just for the fans, if you will. It's pure fan service. I don't know if they would actually do it. I would just think that would be so epic to actually see them do.
Like, can you imagine, like, World 1 is NES Mario, like, World 2 is now you're in Mario 3, and, like, they could do it, like, they have the assets, and now you're in Super Mario World, and then they could add more to it, just, like, they have so many options to do that, and, like, I get that's kind of what Mario Maker 2 is, but, like, they could also make an entire game using all of the assets they had before with their, like, well-designed level, because I agree with you, like, New Soup, I love the game. I have a ton of fun with it, but it just it's not visually appealing. It's like as I said before, it's the 3D assets on a 2D game for me. I'm just not a fan of, and I don't know if that's just me or is it just because I'm old. But give me that sweet
it might be part of that.
Yeah, it's definitely it.
Well, Jackson, I think I made the comment in your stream one time that I think New Soup is ugly, and I think you said that. The New Soup is obviously what you played, and you like New Soup a lot, right?
Yeah, that's what I grew up on. I grew up with New Soup on the Wii. That's what I played a lot of. I think just for me, like, it's obviously familiarity. Yeah, I don't think the aesthetics are amazing, but I wouldn't say they're horrendous. I don't think I obviously have a little nostalgia towards that. I'm a little more unbiased with the other games, but I don't think it's horrendous, guys. What are you talking about? But I think there are some just like movement mechanics that I really do like. The little twirl that you can do in the New Soup mode is just it's something that's so nice to have when it comes to like a particular Mario game.
Yeah, I like the twirl.
And it's only one thing, and it's just a little thing, but it just gives you a bit of wiggle room. And for me, although not aesthetically pleasing, and yes, you could totally implement that into a non 2.5D style game, as it's called. It just makes the game for me. That being said, I think they've totally drawn out New Soup. I think it deserved one game and one game only. And I would like Nintendo to revert back to a 720p Super Mario World or something like that.
I feel like Jackson just called me out. Like, you know when like you grow up, you get older, and you stay with the style, and then finally you hit that age, you're like, you know what? This is the shirt I'm wearing for the rest of my life. And then he's like, styles change, buddy. Keep with the times.
This is the playlist. I'm never changing my playlist. This is the same music I've listened to forever.
I'm pretty sure The Offspring's still the #1 band in the world.
That was my high school favorite band.
It's mine. It's my absolute favorite band of all time. I will never change. I love The Offspring. They're such dorks.
I think I have 10 Offspring CDs still.
I got all of them.
So good.
With all this being said, Cheesepopps, I would love to see a Virtual Boy stream. If you could somehow set that up, and I could see the red and black, just awful perspective, just from a viewer's perspective, that would make my day. I'd probably have to go sit in the corner for a little bit and get my bearings after watching the stream, but I'm down to watch that.
There is one good game on the Virtual Boy. It's the Wario game. It is insanely good. It's if you've ever played Super Mario Land 3, it's that style of Wario game where it's more like Mario Land, like you explore, it's a level left to right, but there's also some like where's the treasure, get the key, boss fights. Graphics are amazing, even if it's all red lines. it's the only game I beat the whole way through. And if I could find a way to stream that, because it is so much fun. You're like, where is the treasure in this level? And the treasures are so hidden and hard to find. It's fun to work through. But we're going to get together one of these days, Jackson. And we used to play multiplayer Virtual Boy. And what I mean by that is, let's say I have the system on my head. You will have the controller. And so I have to say when to jump and when to move.
Okay.
And I don't know why we played that way for as much as we did. But we did on Mario Clash, and we beat like one level. But when we beat it, we were so excited. And it's a stupid good time.
It's a huge W.
I love absurd jank.
I'm literally on the side here pulling up a picture because I've never looked at the Virtual Boy Wario Land, and yeah, this is definitely very much like Super Mario Land 3 type game. But yeah, it is all just black and red. You're right.
How they've never re-released such a polished and good game is so befuddling to me, because it is and it's done. Like, all you have to, maybe they don't want to color it, even if it was just lines, just give me the lines on a normal system. It is such a good game. And the 3D effects were actually pretty cool, but like, you don't need them. Like, you could jump in the background. You can do that on Super Nintendo games, like, no problem. Like, it is a 10 out of 10 game. It's pure fun for what it is. If you like that style of game, it is a blast.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and even the Wario games that I played on GBA or some, I think that's what Super Mario Land released on. It looks better. I mean, I can see the difference. It's like, yeah, this would be cool. This type of cool pixel art. If it does look good. I would love to see that re-released. Like you said, even if it's just black and red, put it on something that I can download. I mean, there's got to be a way to emulate it in some fashion. I assume there is, but I've never even looked into Virtual Boy emulation. But I would love to see that on some current console, some form of that. Like, that'd be insane.
The rest of the 9 games are not good on the Virtual Boy. They're all right. I mean, tennis is tennis. Mario Clash is like a rethinking of the original Mario arcade game, which is fun. There's 100 levels and no saving, and after 3 levels, you're like, okay, I've had enough. So I've never seen the end of that game, which back in the day, you don't get too many games, so you 100% everything. So unless you're leaving your Virtual Boy on constantly, but the rest of them, I mean, pinball is pinball. I would never play golf on the Virtual Boy. There is like a flight game that was kind of fun, and a boxing game that was kind of fun, Aero Boxer, but not a memorable system.
Yeah.
It's remembered for the wrong reasons. The unintentional reasons, I think.
It's what makes Nintendo special.
Yes, it does. I'm trying to think of what else. Okay. There's one more game I did play some more of. I gotta talk about. We're gonna have our daily, our monthly Sonic discussion here. Okay, we talk about Sonic every month. I'm still playing Sonic Frontiers. It's still a fun game.
Good for you.
What do I want to call it? It's not a great game. It's not a bad game. It's a good game. I can play it, turn off my mind, run at the speed of light, do some cool backflips, listen to some like anime boss fight music that's just jamming in the background, and it's kind of fun. Like, it's definitely, I never really thought of Sonic filling this void of mindless, turn off your brain, listen to anything else and just play Sonic. Like, that's what this game is. Like, it's not a deep game by any means, but it's just kind of fun to be running so insanely. Like, they've actually captured in the 3D sense the speed with the controls, I feel like. And I played other Sonic games, and I've never felt the good controls or the good sense of speed combined. Cheesepopps, I heard you say, because you listened to one of our episodes, you said that you like the 3D Sonic games, right?
I am here to defend 3D Sonic games' honor, but I think you did a good job saying they're good games. They're not. If you go in thinking you're getting Nintendo quality, you're out of your mind. But sometimes you need a good game, not a great game. And like, so of course, randomly playing Generations, you're gonna fall through the map and disappear and soft lock for no reason. Of course, this mechanic, which should be simple, isn't gonna work and make you pull out your hair. But you need that in your life, David, I'm telling you, because if you get nothing but masterpieces, you're going to take them for granted. And so, yes, you need to go back, revisit Sonic Colors. I 100%ed that on the Wii recently. I just 100% of Generations. So
He's holding it up right now.
I have not played
have
the
it right
remake.
here.
And yeah, but that's overcoming the jank and trying to go for those S ranks. I'm telling you, because you're going to realize mechanics in the game that make no sense. And to try to get a high score, wow, I just beat this level really fast. Why am I getting D rank? You know why? Because you did not spend enough time in the little orange color, whatever it's called, spinning around in a circle because you get maximized points. So yes, I spent an hour in many levels just spinning in a circle because that's how you score points in this Sega masterpiece. And just enjoying the janky good experience, and then you turn on Mario Galaxy and you're like, oh my goodness, this is a beautiful work of art compared.
Yes.
But you gotta keep some jank in your life, and or Sonic 3D games are the perfect outlet for it. That being said, do not play Sonic in the Secret Rings. I bought that for my wife for her birthday, and it'll go down in history as the worst birthday gift I have ever got her.
That was a Wii release, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was on
right?
Wii motion controls where it's like an auto scroller, but you can move left and right or something.
I think I did play that. I think I have played. I don't know if I beat it, but I think I have played maybe at a friend's house or something. Yeah.
However, Sonic had to have jank because we did not deserve the music in pretty much every Sonic game ever.
Amazing. I still sing, like, there was a Christmas where I had Sonic R rented on Sega Saturn, and I'm still singing the tunes from that game. And then you have Sonic Adventure tunes, and, like, you go back, classic Sonic. Any of those, Sonic 1, 2, and 3, Sonic 3 Ice Cap Zone music will blow your mind. I love it. I could talk about it forever.
I also did replay Sonic Mania not that long ago.
Oh,
Perfect.
great
Which
game.
was
The best.
good.
The best Sonic game.
Yeah, it was, and from what I understand, the way that Sonic Mania got made was it was a fan-made project initially or something, and Sega actually hired the ROM hacker, if you will,
Whitehead?
to actually complete the game for them. And people regard it as like the true Sonic 4, I think, the successor to what, because Sega did release a Sonic 4, which I guess nobody really was a big fan of. I never played it, but people consider Sonic Mania the Sonic 4. And it's not even made by Sega, traditionally. It's made by a ROM hacker that Sega just really liked what they were doing, I guess, and hired him out. I don't know if he still works for Sega in any fashion or has any weight, he or she. I don't know if they have any weight in any future Sonic decisions or anything like that. But that's crazy to me that a big company actually. I mean, imagine Nintendo reaching out to a ROM hacker on SMW Central and be like, "Can you help us?"
That would never happen. Not in a million years, dude.
No.
And that's the shame,
my
right,
knowledge,
Jackson? Like, because it was so successful. Like, Sega's like, all right, you do it. And he crushed it because they were really hyping out the, Sonic Forces Switch release. And they thought, like, hey, we'll just have this guy make this game and it'll basically be advertisement for the Switch game that's coming out. And, like, the opposite happened. Everyone's like, finally, you did what we've wanted. And, like, I would love for Nintendo to reach out to one of the big, like, ROM hackers and, like, not make it Kaizo hard, but, like, hey, how do we think outside? Like, clearly, these folks have dedicated their lives and their love to this video game and this platforming. Like, do you not want those people that do it for no money, like, to do it out of passion and love? Give them the job, because now they're going to be doing it for money, which is always better. And they're going to give you something that they truly care about. And, like, for me, it makes so much sense. And I know Jackson's right. They'll never do it. But it's just like, why not? Like, do you not want to hire someone that has the clear as day passion for something they love like above and beyond, and I think it shows through Mania the whole way through. Like I think Whitehead, I believe, is the gentleman's name, and I think he still does work with Sega on those games because they just released the Sonic. I don't even remember what it's called, but basically a collection of all the Genesis games and the Sega CD.
Yeah,
games.
I can't remember what it's called either, but yeah.
But like
I saw that.
He's still working with them, but I think they forced him to rush that release, so there's some issues with that, specifically with Sonic 3. But like you want people that have a passion for what they create, and like clearly the dude did, and it seeps through Mania, and I just love that game so much.
Yeah, I even bought the DLC, which they unlock like 2 new characters or something with 2 new whole movesets. I haven't played it with those DLC. It was like $3 or something like that. So I was like, oh well, maybe next time if I come back, I'll try it with a new character in the future or something. But I did enjoy my time with that Sonic game. Put it on the record. I did enjoy Sonic Mania. That was a fun game. That was a fun game.
That one's S tier. The rest of the 3D ones are good games. That one's a great game.
I think that's all that I've been playing. I can't think of anything else. We'll go around the room. Ashley, have you played anything off stream?
So last podcast, I was so busy unpacking from my move to Florida, and my life was just so crazy. I was playing nothing off stream. However, this month, I am playing something off stream quite a bit. It's this really cool game. It's called Super Mario Maker 2. And I know,
Never heard of it.
I know I stream Mario Maker 2, but in my stream I've had a really new focus because I'm very new to the more difficult levels. So this last month I did, to try to get better at the game, the top 100 most popular expert levels ever. Got done with all of them. Decided to move on to super expert, which I've been doing now. I think I'm like 25 into the top 100. It's been really amazing for me to learn new skills and stuff. And I talk about it a lot on stream. I'm dyslexic, so it's very difficult for me to just quickly read things. But I'm seeing myself improve. Like a few weeks ago, I couldn't even throw a shell up. Like my brain just didn't understand to let go of the button, and it was so hard. And just the other night, I beat a level that had like 20 up throws of shells in like 20 minutes. So it was just been super cool to learn. Because I watched the 3 of you. I watched so many of our dear friends who stream, who just kick butt in these tough levels. And I was like, gosh, I'm never going to get there. And everyone's been so encouraging that it's actually happening. So off stream, I decided to do something a little different with Mario Maker. I've always been super interested in Team Precision. So for me, my setup, the way I have a very jank setup, and it's a little delayed. So it's hard for me live to play anything Precision. So I've taken it upon myself off stream to try these like 0.05% Team Precision levels. And I really feel like it's making me so much better at Mario Maker.
It gives you a sense of control.
Yeah, it's.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I saw there's a level I'm playing by one of our dear friends, and it took him, I think he said, 33 days to upload the level. And within an hour of playing it, I was halfway done with the level. So, yeah, I felt really good about it.
Right on.
Yeah, I felt good about it. But Precision is such a skillful art. It's like it's just visual poetry to see someone that's good at Precision, and it's been really, really fun doing those levels. I don't get frustrated very easily, but I don't think someone wants to see me die into the same spike for 5 hours. So I've kept that off stream.
Kudos to you. Precision is the hard. Like, I'm a sloppy with the biscuit video game player. I go in, fast and loose. And Precision, no. You have to know the pixel you're on, how hard to press the button. Every jump, I never stress out in video games. Like the one time I played Mario Kart all cups or all races, I got to the final jump, first place in everyone. A shell hit me. I went down the cliff and I got second place. That was the moment I snapped. And I'm like, you know what? nothing can hurt me any more than that. So I don't get nervous, but every jump in precision, my heart just beats and I can't do it. I get so nervous and scared. You're a legend for crushing it.
Thank you. I'm trying very hard. Someday, like once I'm getting a new computer this year, so once I have the setup where, you know, I don't have like I literally watch myself in OBS when I'm playing my video games because my computer is very old and I do what I can with what I have. But off screen, I'm actually, you're gonna laugh, when I play these precision levels, I'm playing them holding the Switch. So I'm holding the whole system with the Joy-Cons. I'm not playing it on a TV. I'm not playing it with like my handheld controller. I'm holding the system the whole time. And I don't know why. It just works for me.
You are the greatest video game player of all time.
It's been very fun. And like I said, like I watched so many of my heroes. I'm not just saying this, all three of you included. You guys are all so awesome at the game. And I watch all of your streams all the time. And it's been super inspirational for me to learn these moves and stuff like that. And yeah, precision's been super helping me. But the Super Expert Top 100 has so far been the funnest thing I've done in Mario Maker. Because I think with the progression of starting with the top expert levels and then moving to super expert, I just learned so much of the mechanics. And people come into the stream that have been playing Mario Maker for so many years, and they have such wisdom about the different game styles, with whether it's Mario 1, 3, you know, New Soup, whatever it may be. And there's just so much to learn about the dynamics of what there is in Mario Maker and what you can do, that it's been a super cool learning experience for someone that's novice at the game like me.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Jackson, what about you? Have you been playing anything? I guess on stream counts too. On stream or off stream that you want to talk about?
I mean, I'll keep it short. Off stream, I have officially been sucked into the Elden Ring black hole.
Wow.
There's so much content in that game, man, and it is so fun. It is so fun. I mean, it just won Game of the Year. I think just a little bit after our last episode was recorded, just won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And that's truly what got me to get back into it, just recognizing, just knowing how good of a game it is and the fact that I wasn't playing more of it. So I've decided to saddle up and die over and over and over and have a wonderful time doing it.
That's cool.
That's about it for me.
That's cool. Just die over and over again.
Jackson, I need to do that. I know, like, the Dark Souls series is like Nintendo modern day, and everything says I should love these games. And I played Dark Souls for a little bit, I got lost, and I gave up. And, like, I love dying over and over and over again in a video game. It takes me back to my childhood. Like, bring it on. It doesn't bug me. But for some reason, I don't know how to get, like, how did you get started in the series? Because I feel like every time I play Dark Souls 1 on my 360, I get not frustrated at the deaths. I just have no idea where I'm trying to go or what, like, I feel like everything I'm doing is wrong.
No, honestly, I started with the first Dark Souls game and I couldn't get into it. I know a lot of people that's their first From Software game. That was the first thing that made them go, whoa, this is great, this is amazing, I love dying. But for me, it just didn't click. I had to get into Elden Ring. Elden Ring's definitely a similar experience, but different enough and a lot more exploration based. And I definitely like the exploration aspect. And there's just so much content, so many things you can do. Never feel like you have to bash your head against a wall over and over. You can if you want, and I totally have. But you don't have to play in that style. Elden Ring it's just fun. If you want a difficult game, if you're looking for a truly difficult game, pick up Elden Ring. You probably already know about it. You know whether you're gonna like it or not before you even play it. But if you want something difficult, I would truly recommend it.
And it's visually stunning.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
It's like you're gaming. I mean, there's so many beautiful games, but I played Elden Ring as a kind of a joke. Like, everyone was just, when it came out, everyone was like, play Elden Ring, no matter what the streamer was doing. I mean, it was just like such a Twitch meme. everyone would pop and play Elden Ring. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And while I wasn't the best at the game, it was like I was in moving artwork. I just was so the whole time floored by how gorgeous the game is.
There are so many moments where you just enter a random room or you just enter a random area and you just have to take a few seconds to take it all in. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely gorgeous.
That's awesome. I'll have to try it because I know that series. It calls me, and I also joke if they called it like Castlevania. I'm such a Castlevania fanboy. It would be my favorite series of all time.
Yeah.
But since they simply do not call it Castlevania, I don't know why I've been stubborn. But that sounds like what I need to do. Just like play the refined version and then work my way backwards.
That's cool. I have not. I think I've talked about it in a previous episode. I have not gotten into the From games at all. I just don't have the time to grind the difficulty right now these days. But I do appreciate watching other people play it though. It's a lot. They're very fun to watch. Very fun to watch in my opinion. Especially somebody who's very skilled at it. Playing randomizers, which is insane. Watching a randomizer on that game, but it's a lot of fun. What about you, Cheesepopps? Have you we see you playing Mario Maker 2 all the time. Are you playing anything else ever, or are you just I love Mario Maker 2. I log off stream and I just play Mario Maker 2 even more.
I do that as well because like a level can get in your bones and you're like, I cannot let this level win, or there's a trick I kind of want to practice. But like you, I'm playing some Frontiers, which is, I like how you said it, like you can, we all have things going on in our lives, but there's something about Sonic Frontiers. You can turn the switch off and just kind of zombie your way through the game because it's not too hard. And I will never forget the first time on like a platform in Sonic Frontiers where I jumped over and I landed on a thin rail. You have never been able to do that. Like, not like a rail you would grind on, but like you have never been able to precision jump in a Sonic 3D game until now, which is sad because that's basically the fundamental of a game is controlling your jump. But that doesn't mean they're bad. Go play Colors. Just enjoy the fact that if you want to jump somewhere, you can't do it. But I'm playing some of that. Sticky Pops is playing Pokemon Violet right now, or Scarlet, one of the two, which is fun. Like, if your significant other is playing a game, it's like you're playing it because you can, even though I don't have the controller, we're kind of working together on that. And then I'll always be playing some sort of retro game. Like on the weekend, I might pop in, GoldenEye just for a bit, or huge Castlevania fanboy. Like now I'm just going to play Castlevania for no reason. Dead Cells announced that Castlevania thing's coming out next year. So I got into Dead Cells solely because of Castlevania. That's been fun. Binding of Isaac is a blast, things like that. So like I'm always playing a little bit of everything. What's nice is like I always have one game that is more than just pick up and play, and then I'll always have a bunch of pick up and play games. So I got 124 days to kill in 7 hours, 43 minutes, and 51 seconds until the new Zelda comes out. So it's
Who's me?
I got even down to the seconds.
What?
How in the world did you do that, man?
I'm sitting here like, is anyone going to
Amazing.
ask me today how many days till Tears of the Kingdom? And this guy's got it to the seconds.
I had to beat you to it. I had to.
I think I
Amazing.
say it every podcast how many days it is till Tears of the Kingdom. And I don't know if you guys know this about me. I took a week off from work when it comes out. Because that's what I use my vacation time for. But that was awesome.
Spoilers, do you remember in Breath of the Wild seeing that first dragon? Like, I felt like I was 10 years old and a kid again, and that is the closest I felt to like, wow. And it brought like tears in my eyes. It was so cool. Ocarina of Time is still better because it's not, but I'm still gonna say it.
We talked about that in your
Of
stream
course.
the other day, Cheesepopps, and Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild are tied for my favorite game of all time. I'm on my 400% playthrough of Breath of the Wild. I'm almost done. I know I'm nuts.
It's the first Zelda game I didn't 100% because I am not finding all of those Koroks. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, by the time I'm done with this playthrough, 3,600 Koroks.
But you don't get anything for it.
You get a large... I don't want to spoiler everybody, but you get a very large golden poo, and I grind for that every playthrough. This one on Master Mode. But the dragon was a beautiful part of the game, but I say this all the time, when you play through the beginning, and then you get to the part of the game where it's the credit of it shows Breath of the Wild, cry every time.
That's what Nintendo does to you. Here's Mario Strikers. You can't play 4 players. Also masterpiece.
Yes.
It's the Nintendo way. Oh man. All right. Cool to hear that some of us do play games off stream. we do. We don't. We like Mario Maker, but we don't. What's the word? Live and breathe it? Is that the right word? Is that the term I'm looking for? We don't live and breathe Mario Maker. We do also play some other real cool games. Let's transition into our email section of the podcast. We do have an email that was sent in a couple of weeks ago from a listener. Ashley, I have the email here for you. If you wouldn't mind reading it off for us.
Sure. Here we go. It says here, so as a smaller starting out streamer, I think it would be interesting to hear about your guys' challenges in starting and growing your communities and advice to people who want to start streaming or have started and want to grow. Can't wait to keep up with your guys' content.
That's an interesting question, because I think we can all look at ourselves, and it's weird. Measuring success on Twitch is difficult.
Yes.
Like, I think we all look at ourselves and we're like, I'm not that successful, right? We're not the greatest or anything, but there's people, no matter what level of success you are on Twitch, I feel like there's always another streamer out there who's looking at you and be like, man, how did they get to where they are today?
Sure.
How did they get 10 viewers? How did they get 100 viewers? How did they get 2 viewers? You know, there's always somebody out there who's looking like, how did they do that? No matter, like I said, no matter what level of success you have, it feels like there's probably somebody always out there like, how did they do that? So it's an interesting question to think about, because it's like, I mean, I look at myself and I'm like, I'm not that successful. It necessarily on Twitch or anything like that, but I think this is just the truth of what it is that people look at other streamers and they're like, how did they get to where they are today? And the only thing that I can really offer is what's worked for me is I feel like there's 2 things: is choosing a game that is not oversaturated. Like you look at, if you want to become a successful Valorant, I think that's how you say it, streamer, or League of Legends,
Fortnite.
And you're starting from 0, that's real hard. People go to League of Legends, and they got to scroll for like 15 minutes to get down to like the people who are, you know, even under like 30 viewers or something like that. And I think that's really difficult to find or to be discovered in any fashion. Whereas something like Mario Maker 2, it's not a huge list, especially these days. It's not a massive list of streamers, but it's a tight community. You go to somebody's stream, you're probably going to recognize a username in there of somebody. It's really cool to see. And I think one of the crucial things is just picking a game that's not oversaturated in that fashion. And I know a lot of our listeners are in the Mario community, so this is almost speaking to the choir, if you will. But I think there is definitely truth in that, as well as like having a set schedule or a place where you can update your people, be like, hey, this week it's going to be this schedule this week. It's just something that people know what to expect. People love expecting, like knowing when they can find you.
Sure.
People like that. I think those 2 things right there are ingredients for success. It might take a long time. Everybody grows at different paces. No, some people go real fast, just out of nowhere, and and maybe they've got like a really good personality, stuff like that. Some people are just a little slower grind, and they get there, they get those 10 viewers, they get those 20 viewers, whatever. It's really cool to see everybody's different experience in it. But I feel like these, at least in my opinion, the two very crucial pieces to it. I don't know if you guys have anything additional to add to it. Ashley, you do?
I do. So I've been streaming now. I just hit 2.5 years as an affiliate on Twitch, which is so exciting. And I have to tell you, to who wrote this email, just this month, somebody said to me in the Mario Maker community, "Oh, you just started streaming, right, Ashley?" And I've been streaming Mario Maker for 2.5 years. I didn't do it as much in the beginning, but Mario Maker is what got me into Twitch. So I remember back when, I first started and like one viewer was like the best day of my life. And the difference between then and now, number one, what David said, a schedule. I just started having a permanent schedule over the summer. My experience is completely different. I never thought I'd be where I'm at right now. I'm not going to say I'm so successful. I'm a small streamer for sure, but I have my core people and I have what I would call a community. And it's because they know when they're going to see me. They know what I'm playing. I made a Discord last year. It took me a very long time to actually take it a little bit more seriously. But you have to invest in yourself. And one of the biggest things that's helped me in the last few months is off Twitch content. TikToks and all that stuff. I'm not super into YouTube, but my 2023 goal is a weekly YouTube content from myself. But things like Twitter and TikTok, I've met so many legendary streamers that I used to look up to them and think, oh my God, I will never talk to this person, but they're so cool. And then they would find me organically on TikTok, follow me, and now we're super close. So the best advice I can give to somebody that's starting out, a schedule, make friends in the community. Don't just stay in a little bubble, because I know I certainly did that when I first started. And the off Twitch content for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely all important as well.
For me, there's no boss to tell you what to do. And if you really want to make it work, you got to kind of figure it out on your own, and which is fun. That's part of why I love it. But for me, I look at streamers that I like here's who I like to watch. Why do I like to watch them? It's because they're fun and they're interacting with me. And that doesn't mean every stream has to be that way, but that's what I want. So think of the streamers that you like to watch, and try to do what they do, but more importantly, be yourself while doing it. If I try to do a Jackson Bleachy B stream, I'm not going to be able to pull it off. But that being said, I love a Bleachy B stream. I love the quirkiness of it. So I can take, a quirky thing that Jackson did and kind of put my own spin on it. Because you're not stealing an idea. You're like, hey, I love that idea. How can I make it my own? And so watch streams that you like and kind of talk to yourself, what made this fun? And then do your best. And then for me too, because I like a fun interactive stream, I absolutely had to turn off how many people were watching. And that might not be good advice for everyone, but I took it so personally when someone would leave, especially at the beginning. And so now, if there's 5 people here, I'm really excited. Now there's 3 and I'm sad. And now the people that come in when there's only 3 see sad Cheesepopps who's not as energetic. Sure. And that's the last thing I want. So that helped me big time, is just turn off the viewer counts, and having fun was so much easier for me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Great advice.
And I agree with that. It's definitely, it is reflective. People can tell when you're not yourself on stream. Even if you don't think you're expressing it very much, that you're kind of disappointed in something, people can tell. They know what your normal energy is, the vibe of the channel, but they can tell when something's bugging the person, right? It's very hard to conceal that 100%. And I do advocate for, if you do have especially an obsessive type personality or something, turn off the viewer count.
Yeah.
Review it afterwards, as well as review your own VOD afterwards. How did you sound? Was the audio balanced properly? And then you also have to think why would somebody want to watch my stream? I'm putting out content. There's 40 other people playing the exact same game. They're all doing the same viewer levels, whatever. Why would somebody want to watch mine over that person over there? It does take some self-evaluation. Be like, okay, what is working for me? It can be tough to identify exactly what that is. And again, I think just keep at it. Be yourself, like you were saying, Cheesepopps. Be yourself. Have just a great time. Don't worry about the numbers. Disable it, and just review yourself every once in a while as well.
Good.
See,
microphone. That I forgot. That's the number one thing. No one's gonna listen to a terrible like your camera can be like as pixelated as you want, and you're gonna have fun still as long as the microphone and audio is balanced. So as much as it hurts, like you said, that's the biggest one right there.
Yes. And it's the trickiest one too, in my opinion.
Because you're like,
I've spent countless hours tuning into my mic, like playing with all the settings on the mic as well as the filters and OBS. I spent countless hours. I'd pull up like a big streamer, somebody who I'm like, that guy has great audio quality, and I would literally like play their stream, and I would repeat what they said in a similar fashion. See, okay, does this sound the same? Can I yell really loud without peaking the mic?
Sure.
Stuff like that. Can I get the compressor to work properly? And people will watch a stream that gets blurry at times. That's fine. That happens in Mario Maker all the time. But audio is, on the technical side, is the most important part of the stream, in my opinion.
shout outs to that very first person who dares chat in our very first stream, because the first thing we all asked them was like, hey, do I sound good? Does this sound okay? Do I need to turn the game up? Is this sound? And they're like, I'm out of here. I didn't come here to work.
Yep.
We just bombard that first soul that comes in because we have no idea.
It's true.
Oh, it's so true.
Jackson, I'm interested
It's
on
true.
your take on this question.
Well, man, I'm just sitting here listening to all this great advice. I don't know how much I can give. I mean, I'm sitting amongst giants here. It almost seems like if we're looking strictly at the numbers. But honestly, if I can just, echo it. Just don't look at the numbers, especially if you're starting out. Just the main thing you need to focus on is how can you enjoy streaming, Like, don't focus on the viewer count. Don't focus on, like, how many chatters you have, how many people are watching, what your analytics are. Just figure out what you like doing, and then once you figure out what you like doing, you're gonna be more energetic, you're gonna be more charismatic, I guess you could say. People will just be drawn to you.
Sure.
Like, I think that's huge
agree.
too, because like if you're a grumpy person, be a grumpy person. There's some amazing grumpy streamers out there. Like,
Yes,
there
are.
and I'm not a grumpy person. So when I first started streaming, all of my favorite streamers swore. So I'm trying to swear, and it sounded so unnatural. I'm like, that's just not me. It's not for a long time, and so I had to just go back to who I am as a person. But like, high energy. If you're not high energy, don't be high energy. I love a lot of deadpan streams where like that's just you're getting authentic, and I think that's
Bald
huge.
man.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And one thing I'll say, Bleachy, about your stream, there's some things that I don't think you get at many other streams that happen in there. We talked about it last time, the eating content, right? There's every stream, the chat's always like, eat this, eat that, eat all of this, and sometimes you do. Sometimes you do, and it's incredible. In fact, it's so incredible. Cheesepopps, I believe, said that he wanted to challenge you in eating something. Is that right?
I would be honored to eat some toilet paper on this podcast with the legendary Jackson, aka Bleachy B. It's such a no one else. So everyone else on Twitch eats something. No one eats toilet paper, and I just want to be a part of that. Like, I'm trying to steal some of that thunder because it is just who eats toilet paper, and I want to say I ate it with the greatest toilet paper eater that I know.
It's truly a unique experience. It's gonna be good.
Are you rocking like double ply? Is it scented? I'm a little concerned because the wife gets some
we don't
top.
do scented. That's cheating. We don't let the nose taste before the mouth. The mouth is the first thing.
I have much to learn.
This is like a master listening to the master.
The master of toilet paper eating.
Yes. All right, so for our listeners, I see right now Bleachy B Jackson holding a square of toilet paper, and I also see Cheesepopps holding a square of toilet paper. Are you guys ready to ingest now? Cheesepopps, have you ever eaten toilet paper in your life? Just a question.
I think there's
Have
only
you?
one person on this planet that has the answer that yes, and I'm about to eat that with them. And this is like, I am so honored and excited. And there's only going to be two of us that have ever eaten toilet paper. And this is not for a charity. This is not for anything. This is just for the honor of being the two toilet paper. This is it. I'm excited, and thank you for letting me do this.
Oh, you are so welcome. This isn't something that I let other people partake in normally with me. So it's nice to have someone.
So how do I do it? Do I fold?
I mean, we can take it slowly, just one bite at a time. Just we don't have to eat it all in one gulp.
Just enjoy the journey.
Just enjoy. We can have a
Enjoy
casual
the
conversation while we do this. I'm going for it.
Oh,
Oh, the first bite has been done.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's unpleasant.
oh my god.
That's not unpleasant. Come on.
You can't even
Give
chew it. It
second.
gets harder as you
it a
chew.
second.
This makes no
Hey.
sense. It's
Hey.
compacting.
It's just part
You
of my
just gotta
culture.
I
down
think
it.
toilet paper is meant to dissolve, right? Isn't it designed to dissolve?
Do you chew?
Just let it spread on your tongue. Spread on your tongue.
I chewed. That was a mistake. It
Chew-
turned
chew-
into
chew
like
the
a
sides.
gobstopper of toilet paper.
Yeah, don't
my
let it
so
God.
much more.
Okay, Jackson second bite. Cheesepopps second bite.
Oh, that's the technique.
Jackson just taking this like a pro, like it's just a slice of cheese he's eating over
He's
here.
right. You got to put it on the tongue, and then it dissolves down. It's not too bad. I still have that gobstopper in there. I'm gonna have to swallow that. That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, normally I have to spit those out, but like you've come too far. You got to power through it, man. I'm sorry. I didn't warn you about this earlier.
No, you got to learn. You got to take your lumps. It's like you can't hold my hand through this entire experience.
Alright, Jackson and Cheesepopps third bite. No reaction from Jackson. Cheesepopps a little wince.
It's hard. You got to do the technique. It's not the chewing at the first one was a mistake, but the tongue and let it dissolve, that is a heady play. And this is why it is an honor, because there's going to be a point in my life in the future where someone challenges me to eat toilet paper, and I'm going to look them in the eye and I'm going to say, "Bring it on, scrub. I
Yeah, I'm a
learned from the
one-up."
master."
I learned from the master.
I wouldn't say I'm a master. I'm sure there's somebody listening in right now that could give me a few tips and tricks. I don't know if I want them. I want to stay.
I
wanna stay
guarantee you
up top.
there is not.
There is not.
Are we ready?
I've met many napkin eaters. I will say that. Like,
Have you?
Yeah, well, not many, but like
Okay.
a couple. Okay. I don't do napkin eating. So like there was this one time where let me take another bite real quick. There was one time where I'm just chilling like at this restaurant just eating ice cream. And these people are like, "Hey, you want to like have a napkin eating competition?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I totally lost. I lost so hard. They knew exactly what they were doing. They had it all split up and whatnot. So I'll take the toilet paper crown. Cheesepopps and I got this.
What about if you both do just that one last bite? Nice little cheers. There we
Yeah.
go.
Cheers. The last bite.
The last
There's no more
bite.
toilet paper in the hand of either person.
It's in the mouth.
That was an honor. That was an absolute honor. I am a better person. I have lived one of my many dreams. Thank you so much, Jackson,
You're so
for
welcome.
teaching me that. I miss my
GG.
20s so much. Like,
This is what
a
you get.
napkin eating
Bleachy make
contest
you miss
is
them.
yeah, well,
This is what
like,
you get.
just for that. Like my wife doesn't look at me, or my friends that come hang out don't look at me. It's like, "Hey, you want to eat some napkins?" But they did in my 20s. I miss those times.
Amazing.
Amazing. Well, before we wrap up, there is one voicemail that's very targeted, and I don't think it's going to take very long. There is one voicemail. Let me go ahead and play it here. This was left just yesterday, in fact, but it's a very targeted voicemail, and I don't think it's going to take long. Let me go ahead and hit play on this. You guys should be able to hear this.
Hello, Arcade Parlor, and, people working in Arcade Parlor. Poncho Taco and Ashley and Beachy, what is up? And this is a question for Cheesepopps. Yo, Cheesepopps, if you had to pick between these two people, who would you pick? Barry Bonds or Sid Bream? You rock, Bash.
I have never been more angry in my entire life.
Oh my god.
I don't know who you are, Anonymous. I don't know who you are, even though I know exactly who you are. But where do you get the nerve? That is the last... Come on.
Wow.
Come on. For those who don't know, Barry Bonds out in the outfield against the Braves to go to the World Series. Sid Bream, former Pittsburgh Pirate. The ball goes to the outfield. Bream is running home to score to basically win the game. And Barry Bonds did not use enough steroids at that point in time and had a noodle arm, noodled the ball in. It got in there eventually. Sid Bream slides in safe. The Braves go to the World Series. I can't remember if they won that one. They should have won like 80 World Series in the 90s, and they won like one because, I don't know. But it is one of the most heart-wrenching memories of a Pittsburgh Pirate fan. And I wear the Pirate fan or Pirate hat all the time. It's kind of my deal. Mostly because I almost always have long hair, and if you have long hair, you have to wear a hat because combing it is hard and a pain, and a hat just helps. Or you could go the Jackson route and just rock the what did you call it? The Dr. Wiley, or no, not Dr. Wiley, the man,
the old guy from Back to the Future.
I laughed so hard when I heard that. I'm like, that's perfect. But yeah, it is the most heartbreaking moment in Pittsburgh Pirates history. On the field, and basically we've been a minor league team with a few exceptions ever since, because this is a video game podcast. Don't get me started.
We pray for you.
This person who sent it in did this voicemail live on stream, and I watched him do it, and I was like, all right, we definitely got to play this on the podcast.
It was great.
One of my favorite. This anonymous person is one of my favorite people. I love the Mario community, the variety of personalities, and just popping in and seeing so many different friendly people. And that's one thing I want to stress enough. And I raid a lot of non-family friendly people, but just because they're not family friendly doesn't mean they're not friendly.
Of course.
I think that's huge to get across. So,
yep, agreed. All right, well, that ends our voicemail subject, as well as email subject. Let's go ahead and let's do some self promo at this time. I think we're about that time here. I'll start around the order of my virtual room here. Ashley, why don't you go ahead and shoot us some self promo? What you got going on?
Surely, thank you so much, guys. It's me, Ashley, Florida. Currently, I am streaming on Twitch.tv/Ashley with 2 E's, no Y. _FL. I stream Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern, although most of the time I'm grinding a very difficult Mario Maker level, and I go later. So right now I'm doing Mario Maker, the top 100 super expert levels, and I also do late at night retro speedruns to try to get that world record back from the Beauty and the Beast Sega game that I used to have the world record on. You can also find me the same handle, Ashley with 2 E's _FL on YouTube, as well as Twitter, and I have a TikTok that I put weekly content on as well. That is Ashley with 2 E's _Florida, all spelled out.
Jackson, what about you?
What's up? My name's Jackson, but you probably know me as Bleachy_B. You can find me at twitch.tv, /Bleachy_B. You may know me for eating civilized things and doing normal human stuff, such as playing Mario Maker and eating toilet paper, as you now know very well. You can also find me on YouTube, BleachyB, and TikTok, BleachyB. And I guess I can say this now. I am planning on putting a lot more content on YouTube and TikTok as of the current moment. Short form for TikTok, and I guess YouTube Shorts has a way to do that as well. And then longer form content on YouTube should be coming out shortly. So subscribe and follow and whatever else you want to do. It would be nice.
Awesome. Cheesepopps, what about you?
I am Cheesepopps, 3 P's. There's a Cheesepopps with only 2 P's out there, and maybe the greatest gamer of all time. I don't know, but that's just Cheesepopps. I wanted it, and so it's 3 P's, and it will forever be 3 P's. On Twitch, 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I try to do most days of the week. It's the holiday season. I've been sloppy with the biscuit, but I'll be there most days of the week. Maybe some weekend at some point in time, but I'm blessed enough where, you know, I want to spend time with my wife and other things. So I make sure when I do stream, I go full out, all like as high energy as I can do. And it's relatively laser free, so feel free to stop in, and it's a good time. I do have YouTubes and TikToks, same name. They're just shorts and stuff. I have no idea how to edit or anything, but I just throw them on there, and they're fun. Like, I have a couple compilation videos where it's just really cool levels, and then you get to watch me be stupid and somehow beat them. So you don't see the hour-long grind on the level, you just see the moment of victory. So that's always fun, but that's where I'll be.
All right. And you can always find me, twitch.tv/PanchoTaco. You can actually go to panchotaco.com if you want. It'll take you to my Twitch stream. Easy way to find me. But Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, doing some Segathon in there. So if you want to see some cool retro games, check me out Sunday nights, Monday nights. Otherwise, it's all Mario stuff right now. Again, that's twitch.tv/PanchoTaco. As far as Arcade Parlor is concerned, you can go to arcadeparlorcast.com. That has a link to all of our social medias as well as the podcast here. It also has a link to our Discord if you want to chat about the Discord. Give us some feedback on there. That's the best way, and we can be the most responsive there. If you have a question for us, you can either email us at email@arcadeparlorcast.com, or you can call and leave a voicemail at 402-915-1082, and we'll screen. We always screen ahead of time, and your question might be put on our very next episode here. Guys, this has been an awesome episode.
Legendary.
I cannot wait to release this. I think people are gonna love it. Another great episode in the books here. Cheesepopps, thanks for joining us.
I had a blast. I talked a lot. I'm sorry about it, but I nerd out so hard, and it was an honor, and thank you for having me. And if you ever want me to come back, I will be here in a second. And there's so much I can still talk about. I'm sorry.
Don't ever
There's so
apologize for talking on a podcast. I'm just going to say that.
We need a part 2.
Yes. Yeah, I fully agree. We have a lot more retro to talk about here. A lot more room for retro. Ashley Jackson, thank you for joining as well on Arcade Parlor here. Everyone, we'll catch you next month. Have a good week. Have a good month. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.